They were born beyond the edge of the Roman world, where forests thickened and the empire's laws faded into rumor. To Rome, they were first raiders, then mercenaries, then something far more dangerous. The Franks were allies who fought Rome's enemies, guarded its borders, wore its armor, and learned its power from the inside. And when the empire finally began to fall apart, it was these so-called allies who were best positioned to inherit what remained. Long before they ruled anything, the Franks were a loose collection of Germanic tribes living along the Rhine River, right on Rome's northern doorstep. They weren't a single nation. They had no emperor, no capital, no grand monuments, just warriors, clans, and a reputation Rome feared. Roman legions tried to push them back again and again. Sometimes they succeeded. More often, they didn't. The forests favored the Franks. The cold favored the Franks. And unlike Rome's rigid formations, Frankish fighters were flexible, fast, and brutally effective in close combat. Eventually, Rome made a choice that would change history forever. If you can't defeat them, hire them, By the 3rd and 4th centuries, Frankish warriors were no longer just enemies at the gates. They were inside the empire, serving as border guards, soldiers, and elite fighters in Roman armies. They learned Latin commands, Roman tactics, and Roman politics. While Rome thought it was using the Franks were quietly learning how Rome actually worked, and that knowledge would soon become deadly. To survive its endless wars, Rome began relying more and more on times foederati, times barbarian allies, allowed to settle inside imperial borders in exchange for military service. And among all of them, the Franks proved the most reliable and the most ambitious. Frankish commanders rose through Roman ranks. Some even commanded Roman troops. They wore Roman armor, accepted Roman pay, and enforced Roman law while still answering to their own tribal leaders. Rome believed loyalty could be bought. What it failed to understand was that loyalty can also be times redirected. As imperial authority weakened, local Roman governors leaned on Frankish warbands to keep order. Slowly, almost invisibly, power shifted. Cities still flew Roman banners, but the men holding the swords were no longer Roman. By the late 4th century, the Franks weren't invading Rome's world. They were already running parts of it. When Roman emperors changed every few years and civil wars drained the treasury, Frankish leaders offered something Rome no longer could: stability, protection, continuity. To local populations, that mattered more than citizenship. And one Frankish family understood this better than anyone else. A dynasty that wouldn't just survive Rome's collapse, but would times replace it. Around the year 481 AD, a young Frankish war leader named Clovis inherited a small kingdom in what is now northern France. He was barely in his teens, but he understood something Rome had forgotten. Power doesn't come from titles, it comes from loyalty. Clovis moved fast and without mercy. He crushed rival Frankish kings, one by one, absorbing their lands and warriors. Where Rome negotiated, Clovis eliminated. Where Rome hesitated, Clovis struck. Within a generation, the Franks were no longer a collection of tribes. They were a kingdom, but Clovis's greatest weapon wasn't his sword. It was his time's conversion. In a world divided between pagan warlords and Christian Romans, Clovis made a brilliant move. He converted to Catholic Christianity, not the Arian Christianity followed by other Germanic kings, but the faith of Rome itself. Bishops backed him, Roman elites accepted him, the population followed. Suddenly, Clovis wasn't a barbarian king ruling Roman lands. He was a Roman-style ruler, chosen by God. By the time Clovis died in 511, the Western Roman Empire was already a memory, but its legacy, its laws, its faith, its authority lived on through the Franks. And this was only the beginning. After Clovis, the Frankish kingdom didn't collapse like Rome had. It times evolved. His descendants, known as the Merovingians, ruled in the name of tradition, while real power slowly shifted to their advisors, the mayors of the palace. And unlike Rome's chaotic bureaucracy, the Franks kept things simple: land for loyalty, protection for obedience. Roman laws were rewritten in Frankish terms, Latin mixed with Germanic speech. Roman cities survived, But with Frankish kings at the top, even the name of the land changed. Asterisk, Francia. Asterisk. Over time, the land of the Franks became something new, not Roman, not barbarian, French. Centuries later, another Frankish dynasty, the Carolingians, would rise from this foundation. One of them would be crowned emperor in Rome itself, reviving the idea of empire under a Frankish name, Charlemagne. Rome had fallen, but it hadn't disappeared. It had been times-absorbed. Asterisk. And the Franks, once outsiders at the gates, became the architects of medieval Europe. Rome collapsed because it tried to hold the world together with laws, taxes, and memory. The Franks succeeded because they understood people. They didn't erase Rome. They adopted what worked: its religion, its administration, its prestige, and discarded what didn't. Where Rome demanded obedience to distant emperors, the Franks offered protection from nearby kings. Where Rome ruled from marble halls, the Franks ruled from the battlefield and the church. Most importantly, they adapted. When Rome's borders broke, the Franks didn't panic. They filled the vacuum. When imperial authority vanished, they became the authority. Their kings ruled not as relics of a fallen empire, but as founders of a new one. That's why Europe didn't fall into darkness after Rome. It transformed. And at the center of that transformation stood a people Rome once dismissed as barbarians, who learned Rome's secrets and built something stronger from its ruins.